I'm about to show you how to scale so fast that you hit 8 figures in 2026 by taking advantage of today's trust recession. We're paying more and more for ads every single year, and it's killing 95% of businesses that rely on advertising. But if you learn how to actually make this recession work for you, it's going to be the thing that allows you to scale to 8 figures fast. You see, there are 3 specific changes that are happening right now that make 8-figure growth feel like a kindergarten math test. And the businesses that understand this, they will dominate, while the rest, they're going to be left in the dust. So this is what I call is the 7-figure trap. This is what I notice most 7-figure entrepreneurs get stuck and they stall out, and why they never make it to 8. And the businesses that do make it to 8, they're applying these 3 main accelerators. So in this video, we're going to break down what those 3 main accelerators are. So number 1, it's Andromeda. It's Meta's new AI algorithm. It's one of 3 parts. I cover the 3 parts in other videos. Make sure to watch those, and I would consume all of my content actually, because I don't know very many people that 1 are talking about Andromeda, or 2 actually understand how to make it work. A lot of people know about it. A lot of people are aware of it, but a lot of people don't know how to make decisions around Andromeda. So go through, watch my videos right now if you don't know how to make decisions about when to kill a creative and how to go about killing creative versus scaling one. So the main thing with Andromeda is they prioritize 2 main things: diversification in messaging and volume. So you need a lot of creatives and you need a diverse message in creatives. I break this down in some of my other videos. I'm not going to dive into this too much, but you need to understand the importance of this. You have to really understand like why this happened. First of all, think of how easy it is to create content now with AI. Like, you literally don't even need a camera. You can just go rattle some keys on a keyboard, click a few buttons, and you have an ad that can possibly convert for you. Now, we're not seeing it convert head to head as well as our UGC that we produce. So if you need UGC, we can help you with that too. But I digress. It's so easy to create ads. Click of a button, you have an ad. Thanks to AI. Meta saw this coming. They realized that content was being produced so much higher. Everybody knows they need to be creating content. So they had to build a system that could handle that. Andromeda is that system. So it optimizes faster when you give it what it wants, when you're using the best practices. So I break it down in one of my other videos. There's 10 types of creative assets that Meta's engineering department says that they're going to prioritize. UGC being one of those. Again, if you need help with UGC, that's user generated content. This is what's rewarded. This is going to be a great top of funnel content that's going to stop the scroll. It's going to get a lot of people aware of your business. And then there's also other types of content: founder story, talking head content, which we help all of our clients build these types of content. So you have to understand how to lean into Andromeda. That's going to be the number 1 accelerator that we're seeing 8-figure businesses hit today. And what we're actually seeing too is, this is probably the craziest part. Previously, campaigns that were performing better on Google, we're seeing a lot of those campaigns perform better on Meta. Meta used to be what people would consider, and when I say Meta, I'm talking about both Facebook and Instagram, to be clear. So Meta was what a lot of people considered just top of funnel, building awareness, getting the brand out there, and then Google would capture the conversion. Now that's still the case for some of our campaigns. So it depends on the service, the offer, what you're promoting as a business. But we have campaigns now that were previously, we were able to pump more and more money into Google, and those were more profitable, meaning per dollar we spent on Google, we were getting more return per dollar we spent back into the business. Now, when we're optimizing these campaigns around Andromeda, meaning we have all the creative assets we need, we have the complete diverse messages that we need. This is very complex. It's not an easy feat, to be clear. It's not just anybody filming a video from a tripod and camera like I'm doing and just throwing them up and saying, well, it says, different things in every ad. There is a strategy that's involved. We call it our constellation strategy. I built this strategy. It's the first Andromeda strategy that I'm aware of that has been proven and specific for Andromeda. So I teach this in my coaching offer. If you run an agency or you have clients and you need to know how to do this, or you want me to coach you on how to do it yourself, if you're already running ads or want to run the ads yourself, I teach all my students this. I provide this SOP with them. It's a very detailed process of how to run Andromeda. And this is my exact strategy that I run, my team runs. All new strategists come on, they have to learn this, and this is what we implement. So those campaigns that we have all of the best practices for, that we're in complete control of the creative, the messaging, and everything's dialed in, we're seeing Meta actually actually outperform, because we can now take a user that wasn't necessarily in market, we can now own that space and convert them. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So if you think of your TAM, which is your total adjustable market, there's roughly 40% of people that you can pretty much sell to. No, not all at once. They're not all in market. So on this side, we have 30%. On this side, we have 30%. And then on this side, we have 40%. Now, this 40% is people easy to convince, essentially, is what this would be. We have this 30%. We'll call this one the definitely not interested. There's nothing you can do to convince this group of people. And then you have this other 30%, which they're thinking, but not interested. Now, this is why you need the strategies that we run. So there's three main types of people that are easy to convince. You would have what I would call this smallest percentage, which is roughly 3% here. Now, this is approximate numbers, but this is 3%. And this is not from me. There's a great book by Chet Holmes, The Ultimate Sales Machine. Incredible book. I'd highly encourage you to read that book. He breaks this down. He says there's roughly 3% of people that are considered in market. Now, aside from that 3%, you have this other 7% here, which these are going to be people that are open to the idea or open to buying. You need a little bit of convincing. And then you have this 30%, which is here. And these people are not thinking about it, but you can still convince them to purchase. It wasn't on their radar. So when you have Andromeda's best practices, again, diversification and volume, all of this 40% here, I'm going to outline this in green because this is what makes you the money. All of this 40%, this is what is going to make up those 25 to 50 plus creatives. So that's what I mean by volume plus diversification. The ad that is going to get this person who's not thinking about it to open to the idea is going to be a different ad that gets the person that's open to it to being in market, to being buying right now. These are the ads that I consider propaganda that get people to buy, or they get people to have the ideas that we need them to have. Now, the other reason this is really beneficial is you're going to save a lot of money on your ads, because marketing to cold audiences is the most expensive thing. Now, 95% of advertisers, they all target the 3%, which is who's the in market that's buying now. Think of it like this. If we go back to our chart here, this 40%, if I went and I sold tires, this 3% that's in market here, this is the people who's like their wires are like showing in their tires. They know they need to buy tires right now. It's getting to be rainy season. I need new tires. The 7% who's open to the idea, these are the people that they know that they need new tires, but it's not a pressing matter right now. It's summertime. It's not going to rain. Whatever the reason is, they can ride those tires out a little bit more. They're open to the idea, and it takes a little bit of convincing. For example, if you run a mechanic and somebody comes in and gets their car replaced or their car tuned up, and you notice that their tires are low, say, hey, like we're running a special right now, probably have another month, and you can wait for another month, but you're going to lose at least $100 per tire, right? That's somebody who's open to the idea. Then you have the person that's not thinking about it, and you can plant the idea to that person, say, hey, look, like your tires only have a few more months. I know you're probably not even thinking about this yet, but rainy season happens, this happens, all these ideas that we can plant to get them to now open to the idea. Again, this is what we would consider like propaganda, is propagating thoughts that we need them to accept to accelerate the buying process with your business. Now, 95% of advertisers, the reason they're getting fucked right now, and not just now, but this previous is they're all targeting this 3%. They all want to compete on this little sliver of right here. This is what all advertisers go. This is when you look at your ads and it says buy now or discounted offer. I would consider this bottom of funnel content. Now, I'm not saying don't do this. That's going to get the majority of your conversions. That's going to get the majority of your spend. But for very small and fractions, we can get these people, this other 30%, to move forward in the buying process, to becoming open to the idea. And the person that's open to the idea, now we can get them to in market, to buying right now. And by doing this, we actually get rewarded, because now this other 37%, it's no longer considered cold audiences. They've already engaged with our business. They've already engaged with our content. So you have to understand Andromeda's new algorithm and the best practices. The number 2 accelerator is going to be the trust recession. So this is how we're going to turn skepticism into sales. Trust right now, it's at an all-time low. Think of how easy it is to create content, how how easy it is to get in front of these people. Everybody is being sold to at an all-time high. And that is your edge. You just really, at the end of the day, it's not even a trust recession. It's just a marketing gap. You need better marketing. You need somebody like me who understand the psychology of your ideal client and help you build the marketing system as an infrastructure that allows you to take that skepticism and turn it into a sale. Because what happens is when money's tight, people have to know that the dollar they spend is going to yield the outcome that they want. It's not that they're not willing to spend the money. They just have to know that it's not going to be a gamble and they're not going to lose their money. For example, if they buy a chair on Amazon, they need the chair, but they want to know that if I buy this, is this the right one for me? Is it going to break in 6 months from now? Is it going to last me for years, right? So they're willing to invest the money, but they have to know that it's going to yield the outcome they want. And how we're doing this is with authority-driven content. So we're combating this head on. This is going to be your testimonial videos, any case studies, any type of content that screams credibility, screenshots, happy customers, anything like that. You need content that's going to make your sales process much easier. Additionally, you need content that positions yourself as the go-to expert. So what we're using is we're using a lot of podcast content. That's probably one of the best things. If you ever work with me, I'm going to have you on my podcast. I'm going to queue up very strategic, authority-driven content. So even if you just want to be on my podcast, like hit me up. I'm always looking for 7-figure entrepreneurs who have a cool story, who have something that I'm fascinated in. Make sure to DM me for that though on my Instagram page. I'm very active. I respond to all of my DMs. And what I'm doing right now is I'm building my clients as authority figures. I'm a great host. I know what questions they're going to get in the sales process for their offer. So I ask strategic questions that not only answer those questions for their leads and prospects, but have a high probability of getting lots of leads and driving a lot of traffic organically. So there's other types of content which we cover and we help you do this, but you really have to take this content and you have to strategically place this content as pre-call assets. Now, if you're running like a telehealth offer, there's other ways that you can incorporate this type of content. But if you're running, a synchronous business, meaning you got to meet with the sales rep over the phone or Zoom or in person, or they got to come into your business, you really want to have this content sprinkled into your campaigns. And we have the exact strategies, the best practices. So if you want us to even run your marketing complete done for you, or possibly build out all of the marketing that we would run for ourselves for you, that includes your entire CRM funnel, winning ads and VSLs, then train you on how to run it so you can think like a marketer, whether it's training you or your marketing staff, or even if you just want me to coach you and consult you on these exact strategies, practices, get access to my proven strategies where you get to work one-on-one with me. We also have group settings. I have a bunch of ways where I either train you how to do this or I do this for you. I know that I'm going to get hired for one thing, that's to make you more money, and the money you pay me is going to be very little compared to the money you make from the things that I either train you on or do it for you. So knock out the application below if you want to work with me and help scale. If you're a 7-figure business on the path to 8, or if, even if you're a 6-figure business, again, we have other offers where I can help you accelerate that learning curve very rapidly. So we covered the 2 of the 3 main accelerators in this 7-figure trap. So Andromeda, best practices, taking advantage of the trust recession that we're in, leaning into it, authority-driven content where you're going to position yourself as the go-to expert, and you're going to sprinkle this in at different stages in the journey, right? This 30% of the in-market, or the people who are not thinking about it, we're going to target them with slightly different content than the 7% who's open to the idea. And then the people that in market, we're going to target them different. That's just going to be very heavy direct response style advertising. You're probably already running that type of ads. Most people generally that we talk to, they already have those types of ads running. It's all the other stuff that's missing that's very vital in this. So the third and final thing to accelerate your path is going to be using content as a weapon. This is what I call the propaganda system. And this is part of what I've already been covering on this video, but I want to really narrow the focus on this. Most advertisers, all they're doing is running direct response ads. And you need to stop running direct response ads ads to cold traffic. Now, that works if you're trying to stay at 7 figures or below, or obviously if you have like really small budgets, like let's say you can only spend like $100 a day or $200 a day. Depending on your TAM, you might want to put all of that. You're not a fit for me to come in and help you get to 8 figures. Again, I only work with 7-figure businesses on the path to 8 or 9. So if you have a very limited budget, yeah, you're going to allocate a lot more of your budget toward just cold traffic, heavy direct response ads. But again, as you scale, you think of like ads as this lake with all this water in it. Well, if you pull all the water out of the lake, you have a dry lake, there's no water. Well, that's essentially what cold advertising does. Is cold advertising is like the rain clouds that come in and they fill up your lake. Well, when you're only targeting that person who's ready to buy now, you're not really like filling that lake with new customers. Eventually it's going to dry out. So that's why I say it's very important for you to have all of these other types of content. So we break this down into 3 main phases. So phase 1, you're going to flood the market with engaging, educational, and scroll stopping content that builds trust. People buy when they know, like, and trust you. So what most advertisers do wrong is they take cold traffic, meaning somebody who's never heard from you, they've never seen your business before, they don't know who the fuck you are from anywhere. That's somebody that's cold. Again, 95% of advertisers are all marketing cold to this 3%. So not only are you also a nobody that this person's never heard of and you're asking them to buy, but everybody else is doing this. So you need to stop doing that. You need the content that builds trust. So now when people know, like, and trust you, now we can get them to buy. It's a lot easier to get them to buy. Remember, a lot of this is going to be this 37% up here. So we're going to build out all that content for you, or you need to do it yourself. Phase 2, you need to make sure you have good retargeting in place. So anybody who's engaged with your page or content, anybody who's gone to a landing page, you're going to have very strategic direct response ads for these people. Hey, clicked on our page, but you didn't buy, right? Something that like, wow, this person is speaking directly to me as I'm scrolling. That's going to be the type of content that's going to really do well. And then phase 3, you need to nurture the warmest people, the warmest audiences with objection-destroying propaganda content. And this is going to get a lot more conversions. This is going to get people to buy. For example, if I had a telehealth business and I saw I was getting, like most telehealth businesses that I work on, they're converting anywhere from 1 to 5% of their leads into purchases. This is going to be asynchronous. So meaning you have a complete checkout. When you have a salesperson, we're seeing a little bit higher conversion, generally between the 5 to 10% range. Now, again, this is just the data that we've seen, over 40,000 active patients that we've signed up for the businesses that we've worked with. We've had single clients sign up 1,200 patients in a day. So in that case, if you were a telehealth business and you're getting 95% of these leads, possibly more, not to convert. And again, this is still very wildly profitable. You know, these are businesses that are like scaling rapidly. These are generally people that like put in their info, they started filling it out, and then it's like, well, you need an ID. You need a picture of yourself. So there's a lot of friction in some of these asynchronous telehealth businesses. That's why the volume of conversion is very low. So you need that content that nurtures them. So those people that didn't complete, well, what kind of content do you need to get them to push them over the edge? Sometimes it takes 2 months. I mean, in some of our campaigns, we're seeing like first click, they put in their information, then they didn't complete the checkout. And we're seeing this again and again and again. And then like 60 days later, some of these people are finally converting. So you need to nurture those very warm audiences. If you run an info product, if you're an agency, do the math. How many of your leads didn't convert? Probably more percent than not. So what are you doing to objection handle? Oftentimes there's one major question that these people have that is preventing them from buying. So we help all of our clients do this. We work directly with their sales teams. We work directly with their calling teams. We analyze the market. We do research, deep research. Every client that I take on, I spend hours just learning the market. That doesn't include anything else that I'm doing with them. That's just my own personal research so that I can make sure that I know if I take certain actions, I'm going to have a high probability of success. With a very short time frame, I think I understand the market better than most of these business owners do because, you know, they're not marketers. That's not their job to know that. That's my job. But scaling to 8 figures, it requires more than just speed. It requires the right system. And there's a complete propaganda marketing system that I've been using with my most explosive clients that's been a real game changer in their rapid growth. So check out this video where I show you exactly how to hit $10 $10 million per year with ethical propaganda marketing. I cover the exact step-by-step system that you can use to hit 8 figures in 2026.